Dragged Down by the Stone. Pink Floyd with Dogs. You can kind of get a feeling there. You ever feel dragged down yourself in the world? I don't want to try to tell you what I think might be dragging you down, but I could guess here on a September 30th, 2016, I can tell you that we were never meant to have the government in our lives on this level, almost on a daily basis, to stress out and worry about what the government's doing. Seems unreasonable. The government was never founded to be in our lives at that level. Welcome back, Bond Factor. Cruise Radio, live on a September 30th as we are celebrating tonight the loss of your internet freedoms, as tomorrow, October 1st, I don't even want to say that. I'm going to say the New World Order. I almost said NWA, which isn't right. The UN, but might as well be. The New World Order sort of takes over the internet starting tomorrow, and that means censorship of everything that we do on a worldwide approach, rather than the freedom of speech, the things that we celebrate within our First Amendment, which we talked about before the break there. The First Amendment getting trampled on by Obama and Hillary. I found one more article that I think is pretty good. I'll bring it up here. You can decide for yourselves, but you can see here Washington Times are talking about the same issue. And you can kind of see here they go on to discuss the internet being taken over. And this is the Washington Times, folks. This is, so you can see here we have Russia and China and Iran. They don't have First Amendments, as we know. And they clamp down on free speech. And, the First Amendment is number one for a reason. It was, I don't know, the very first thing that seemed to be on the minds of the people writing the amendments. So you can see here on the 1st, which is tomorrow, we're celebrating tonight here on the Factor, the Bond Factor, that the Obama administration plans to end the U.S. government contract with the internet. So in other words, we're going to change the way the internet is run by, what I like to call the user, this sort of the, how they edit content by what you type in and what you say. I explained it earlier before, but a little better. But anyway, it kind of goes on to say, how this works. And I would implore you to get out there and see for yourself these things. Get on the internet and see. This is all out there. This is, no one's denying. This has been going on for a while. And this is a huge censorship of what is already starting, as we discussed with YouTube and some of these other entities that are already trying to find creative ways to manipulate what you see, because everyone knows the government has realized the gig is up and the internet is out of control. People are using it to educate themselves in a way that was never, I think, expected. There's no way they could have predicted that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when the internet, the internet was in its infancy. There's no way they could have predicted InfoWars or a lot of the other things like WikiLeaks and, ways that people are getting information. You've got, people, whistleblowers gets a whole new meaning when you start talking about people able to get out there and get the word out in a way that's totally different than NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox News, which is all owned by the same people anyway. And it looks like we just lost Fox News as maybe, which is disappointing, but they've sold out as well to the, you can watch those shows on there and see everyone scrambling around trying to get control, or I should say everyone in the elite groups of power, the corrupt people in power are just scrambling, trying to figure out how they're going to gain some kind of control over this nightmare. And it's important to note again, Hillary Clinton will continue this if she's elected president. She has come out and said that she will do exactly what it is that we're talking about here. So I think that's another one of those things that's just gone right by under our radar. And again, tomorrow, it's happening. Just like so many things, it's almost like the internet is almost one step too late. The information age is almost one step too late. They're already ahead of us in a lot of ways because they're so established. So we've got some catching up to do, but we're catching up. The fight is continuing. It's getting stronger, and that's what we're about here on The Factor. Certainly not to ruin your Friday night, but it's something that needs to be thought about. It's something that's out there. It's real. It's reality, folks. And this is a global takeover of our country. And I think some people thought they were going to get away with it, sort of like some things that have happened in the Middle East. But there's one huge difference about Americans. We have amendments. We have the First Amendment. We have the Second Amendment. And we have things that make the public stronger. And we still have that fundamental belief that the government is supposed to work for the people. There's still enough people that believe that and want to see that happen that I like to think it's not too late. And if it's true, we've got a lot of the people that really are in the know, these billionaires out there that are running for cover and moving to South Africa. Well, hopefully we don't have to go to that extreme yet. But to think that this is just sort of something we can be patient and learn more about and just sort of scratch your head and go, well, I don't really even like this election. I don't even think I'm going to vote because it's just, as we've talked about before, the clown show and some articles here that we've posted on cruiseradio.com, Iron Fist, and Bond Factor explaining this type of thing, like who you are as an American and how this election points to all of these issues. Unfortunately, if Hillary's elected, you can count on the censorship. You can count on more of the same as far as this global point of view. And don't just take it from me. I like people to make up their own minds. We did our first election coverage here on the Bond Factor a few days ago for the first debates. And we're going to cover all three of the debates. But our first debate coverage was crazy because it was the first live show I've ever done. And we're still getting our feet wet here with this, but, we discussed in detail about that issue. So that will continue to be important. So hopefully you'll get out there and inform yourself, get out there and look at these issues because, again, we don't want to be distracted by what people call the clown show. So thanks for being with us. And here you go. You could always go to North Korea if you'd maybe want to try and live there. I don't know. I want to thank one of our first listeners to the Bond Factor, DF Defensty out there, who sent us that photo. And we'll be back in just a minute after we continue with what we started. And we heard about the dogs. Now we're going to do a little Pink Floyd with the sheep. And we'll be back right after this.